Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again. Now, today my topic is very simple, and this is actually one of the biggest realizations that I came to before actually starting my entrepreneurship journey. Now, in today's fast changing economic landscape, information is the new currency, and the reason a lot of young people are actually struggling is because they do not have the right information. Because there are a lot of things that are being involved when it comes to creating wealth, making money, and also being prosperous that we are actually not being taught in school or even in the workplace. Now, personally, I believe financial literacy and financial intelligence is very important because think about this. We have been going to school for a very long period of time. Some of us 16 years, some of us 15 years, 17 years, 20, or even 20 plus years. Now, in school, there are several types of information that we are being given. Now, the first type of education that you are given is like the basic information. And the basic information, this is very simple. This is just where you get to learn how to read and write. Other than the basic information, we have another type of information known as the physical education. The physical education, now where you involve your physical body, running, jumping, the physical classes that you go to. And other than that, you also have the spiritual education. In one way or the other, maybe it was Christianity, Muslim, Hindu, it depends with the kind of spiritual education that you are being given. Now, there is one type of information that is very important, or one type of education that we were never given, but immediately we came out of school, we realized that this is actually one of the things that we really needed firsthand, and that is financial education. I've never understood, or I've never come to a point of really understanding this, but I really question myself each and every single time. Why is it that we were being taught everything, but we were never taught about finances, how to make money, how to create wealth, how to generate wealth? We were never taught that. Now, financial education is very important, financial literacy, and also the level of your financial intelligence, because at the end of the day, personally, I believe that is one of the things that is really going to determine how prosperous or how successful you are going to end up. And today it has become a norm. We have seen people probably who academically they did not do so well, but when we come outside school, they're actually very successful. I believe that is normal nowadays. Why is that the case? Why is that so? It's because these people, other than the other types of education that we were given, they also went an extra mile, because financial education was never taught in school. They went an extra mile and they acquired financial education. They became financially literate. They went ahead and understood the language of money. There is no way you can expect to be good in finances when you haven't actually taken the time to study it. And just for your information, there are a lot of sources where you can get financial education from. There are books you can read, there are mentors in the same area you can listen to, and that is all up to you. So personally, what I wanted to share is one of the things that I really believe, if someone gets to understand, this is actually going to determine the level of your financial success, because at the end of the day, this is also going to determine the choice that you're going to make. Because there is also an interesting subject that was shared by Robert Kiyosaki, known as the cash flow quadrant. It's actually a book, and in the book Cash Flow Quadrant, Robert Kiyosaki simply was explaining there are several ways, actually four different quadrants, that someone can get to generate income or create wealth from. And the first quadrant on your left is the employed, and then we have the self-employed, and then on the right quadrant we have the big businesses, and also we have the investors. Now, when you understand this is going to actually determine the decision you're going to make from here. And this was very important in my own journey, because only and only after realizing this, then I decided to become an entrepreneur. So when you look at the first quadrant, let's say the employment quadrant, what is the formula that is being used to make money at this quadrant? The formula is very simple. If you are employed, what you're simply doing is you're trading your time for money. You are trading your time for money. And when you look at it very keenly, how many hours do you have in a day? We only have 24 hours in a day. So it simply means at the end of it all, it doesn't really matter how hard you're going to work, because when you are employed, you're going to earn a basic salary, you're going to earn a linear income. And it really doesn't matter the effort you're going to put in, the amount of money or the level of your income is still going to remain constant. Now, other than the employed, we also have the self-employed. And the self-employed, the major difference between someone who is self-employed and someone who is employed is the person who is employed has a boss. And the person who is self-employed, they are actually the boss. The person who is employed, they own a job. But the person who is self-employed, the job owns them. And when it comes to time commitment, you realize that even for someone who is self-employed, they actually commit much more time to the work that they are doing than someone who is employed. I don't know if that is true on your side. But at the end of the day, we should be asking yourself, why would that happen if at the end of it all, the goals, the dreams, and the aspirations we have in life, we are still not going to achieve them through the same method? And that is the simple reason why Robert Kiyosaki in the book Cash Flow Quadrant really recommends we move from the left side of the quadrant, where we have the employed and the self-employed, which is actually a good place to start from, but you don't want to end there. To move from the left side of the quadrant to the right side of the quadrant, where we have the big businesses and also the investors, because these are the things that he states. Now, in finances, there are also laws and principles that govern the laws of success. And just like any other place, if you follow the laws or if you follow the principle, you are going to get a certain result. So in finances and in wealth creation, there are also laws and there are also principles. And if you follow these laws, if you follow these principles, you're going to get a specific outcome or a specific result. Now, the first principle that is being shared in wealth creation is the concept of passive income. Now, passive income, this is you being in a position to make money without your direct involvement or your direct effort. Now, the opposite of passive income is actually active income. Active income simply means I have to show up physically. I have to be physically present to do a certain task in order for me to create an income at the end of the day. The other concept that is being shared in wealth creation is the concept of residual income. Residual income is being in a position to do something once, and this thing pays you for a lifetime. And the amount of money you're actually going to earn, it goes on as it increases and increases every time and again. The opposite of residual income is linear income. If you compare linear income, for example, if I have a basic salary, it's so rare and under very minimal circumstances is my salary going to increase or to change. But when I have a residual income, the amount of money that I'm going to make, it's going to increase every time and again. And yet this is just something I did one time and it's going to pay me for a lifetime. The other concept that is being shared under wealth creation is the concept of time freedom, financial freedom, which in very simple terms, I believe you understand. So this is so important, because you should realize up until this very moment that if you are employed or if you are self-employed, it is very hard, or you don't have a chance of making passive income, you don't have a chance of making residual income, and therefore you're not going to enjoy location freedom, time freedom, and also financial freedom. Now, it all comes down to one thing. It all comes down to one thing that is known as a system. When you look at our economy right now, when you look at the current times that we are living in order for someone to thrive during this economy, all you need is actually a system, because a system is going to simplify your work. And through a system, you can employ the law of leverage, which is very hard, because in the employment and in the self-employment quadrant, there is no way you can employ the law of leverage. But on the right side of the quadrant, where we have the big businesses and also the investors, it is very simple. So I hope this was helpful, and this is actually going to help someone make that decision just the same way I did, That is actually the realization I came to, and I decided